Okay, so today we talk about the 2015 movie Yip Man 3. Once again, with Donnie Yen returning as Yip Man, the movie goes for about 105 minutes. The budget for the film was $36 million US. Directed by Wilson Yip, and with martial arts choreography by the great Yuen Woo-ping. Yuen Woo-ping has also worked with Donnie Yen on numerous classic martial arts flicks from the 80s and the 90s. And again, Yuen Woo-ping has to be one of the all-time greatest martial arts choreographers, well suited to a movie like this. Once again, the movie's music soundtrack is by Kenji Kawai, with that very recognisable Yip Man theme. The movie has a few interesting things thrown into it here and there. We've got Mike Tyson playing a small role, and we've also got small bits and pieces with the young Bruce Lee character. Spoiler alert, the 1-inch punch makes an appearance towards the end of the film. Now, this movie has been on my radar for quite a long time. I thoroughly enjoyed Yip Man 1 and 2. Now, from what I recall, Donnie Yen was signed on to do 3 Yip Man pictures. First one was a very big success. Second one, just as popular. From what I understand, he decided not to return for the third movie because he believed there was a lot of Wing Chun suddenly appearing in other movies and TV shows. He didn't want it to be overplayed, which I'm not sure it was, but that was his opinion. Therefore, he didn't return as Yip Man. And numerous other movies starring Yip Man, or about Yip Man, had come out after that. One starring Anthony Wong, which was a very dramatic piece I quite enjoyed. It seemed like Donnie had distanced himself from the whole Yip Man theme. Donnie had taken a different route to the one that he was travelling in terms of his career. I had always been quite a big Donnie Yen fan previous to the Yip Man movies, and I was really happy when I found out that Donnie was in fact cast as Yip Man in the first film. And the first thing that came to my mind was that fight scene in the Line of Duty 4, where he does this one Wing Chun trap against Donnie Yen's real-life buddy and legendary fight choreographer John Salviti. So that was the first thing that popped into my head, and I knew that Donnie was going to do a great job with the role. When I followed him for a short time on social media, I noticed there was a lot of cockiness going on these pages, and I don't know if it was something that was deliberate or what, but I kind of lost interest in the guy. A lot of movies that were coming out after Yip Man weren't really catching my attention, and everything seemed to kind of blur into one sort of piece at one point. I think that's why I've steered clear of Yip Man 3 for so long. I just had no interest in revisiting or watching the film. Finally, I got the chance and some time to sit down and actually watch the movie, and well, I was quite surprised. And I was really happy with the film. It sort of feels like a shame now that I've spent so much time avoiding it. Kind of good at the same time now that Yip Man 4 is coming out very, very soon, so I don't have a big wait in terms of that. So at the 35th Hong Kong Film Awards, this movie won Best Film, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Fight Choreography, Best Sound Design, Best Visual Effects. So, quite a successful movie here. A lot of familiar faces in the cast, and a lot of new faces as well. Lin Hung returns as Yip Man's wife. She portrays her character as very strong and very classy. Her character goes through a lot of changes and big events in this movie. Some that may surprise some people, and will also pull at your heartstrings a little bit. So, the film starts out just like the other ones. But Yip Man has this sense of unbelievable invincibility, because of all the other obstacles that we've seen him beat in previous movies. And again, little do you know that they're going to be throwing this great big curveball later on in the film with Yip Man's wife. So this film doesn't exactly stick to the previously used formula. But this stuff happens mid to later in the film. In the first half of the film, you've kind of got Donnie Yen's character going around beating up people, going around fighting groups of people. At times, he seems to be fighting, anything from 10 people at once to what looks like in one scene about 100 people. And it just borders on ridiculousness. When you see a character fighting so many people at the same time, it kind of suspends your belief. It almost gets the film into an eye-rolling sort of lull. You know that he's going to beat all these guys. He's not going to get hurt. If he does get hurt, it's nothing serious. But he is going to beat the crap out of 20 to 30 guys at one time. There's a nice introduction to a new character, Max Zhang, or Zhang Jin, a former wushu athlete. He does a great job as a new cast member. He was originally a stuntman on films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He's a great addition to the cast, especially to this film. His storyline is well done. He's a Wing Chun rival to Donnie Yen's character. It's a fresh take, it's a fresh view on a new adversary. Instead of having, for instance, a Japanese karate exponent or a British boxer, we've got somebody who is doing the same style as the main character. It pits both of them against each other as rivals. I originally thought that Mike Tyson was going to be the main bad guy in this film. I was quite surprised to see that his fight scene happens towards the middle of the movie. So I thought, wow, the movie's finished already? But no, we were halfway through. Another thing that was brought to my attention was Donnie's physical presence. Again, why he's one of the biggest guys in Hong Kong action movies is because he gets the job done. And depending on what role he's doing, he physically prepares for it. He can get into shape for whichever role he needs, and he does it quite well. You can see his physical presence is really different to other films around this time period as well. Not an easy thing to do. Something else that was a bit strange that I noticed was his height. He seemed to be quite shorter than Lin Hung this time. I don't know whether or not I never noticed that in the previous films, but there's a few times where she kind of towers over him height-wise. Thought that was a bit strange. Almost looked a little bit comical. But overall, I think this was a great movie. It starts off a little bit cliched. It gets very dramatic in the middle towards the end. Again, Yip Man's wife's character gets a big impact on the story, and the Wing Chun rivalries really escalate. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm a bit disappointed in myself for not checking this movie out earlier. Putting those 1 man versus 1,000 men fights aside, it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you've seen the first 2 movies. So check it out.